Okay, we are here at Gen Con 2015 with designer Anne-Marie DeWitt, and we're going to talk about her new game, The Village Crone. So Anne-Marie, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So give us a quick overview of the game.
So this is The Village Crone, and it is a worker placement resource management game with spell casting. And everyone playing, it plays 1 to 6 players, so you can play it solo as well as up to 6 players. Each person is a witch, and each witch has a book of spells that have spells in the middle here. All the spells for the witches are the same, and each witch sends out familiars. So this is Elsbeth. She sends out her snakes to the different locations, and those locations are where she will gather resources. So this snake allows her to gather 2 silver, and she wants to use those resources to cast these spells. So, for example, you can see that the love spell requires 2 fire, and then you, of course, have to say the incantation. It's not a spell without an incantation.
Gotcha.
You can make up your own, though, if you don't want to use these. And you are trying to achieve these witches' aims, or witches' schemes. So you have levels 1, 2, and 3, and they are worth that many points as well. So let me turn over the 3, and you can see the 2 different types. There are passive spells and active spells. So the passive have the open circle, and the active are the black diamonds. And the passive ones, as long as the conditions of the board meet that part of the witch's scheme, you don't have to be the witch to cast that part of it. But the ones with black diamonds, or the active ones, you have to be the witch to actually make that happen. And you'll be able to tell from the language what spell you need to cast. So let me actually start here and say, this says to transform the peasant and the, oh sorry, it doesn't make sense when I do it that way. So let me start at the beginning. So this is get the peasant to the forge. So whenever you see get, that means that you can use by any means necessary. So you're going to have some movement, and the peasant is here at the village green. You could use some movement, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So can't quite get into the village or into the forge with movement. So you also could cast any of these spells that allow you to get there. And then if you see make the peasant fall in love with any other villager, that means that you have to cast the love spell. And then when you cast the love spell, so if I wanted to have the peasant fall in love with the blacksmith, then I have 2 fire, I say the incantation, and then I use the love token to show that now their fates are joined. So whatever happens to one of them happens to the other. So if I move one, I move both of them. If I cast a spell on one, I cast a spell on both. And then the last thing is to transform the peasant and the other villager into frogs. So then there's a transformation spell that I use, and when I transform these guys, they both turn into frogs. They fall out of love, and we set these villagers off to the side. So now that might mess with the schemes that another player is playing with. So if I'm able to do all 3 of these on my turn, or the conditions of the board meet these 2, and I finalize it with this one, then I get to score it. Now I have 3 points. And the first person to 13 points is the Village Crone. You're the winner. So, yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, those are the basics, and so the spells can cause villagers to switch places. You could also cast a switching spell to switch familiars, so that's a way that you can kind of mess with some other players. There's a protection spell that you can use to block the spells of other witches. If you need the board to be in a certain way, you want to block what they're doing. There's a conjuring spell where you can conjure up to 2 more familiars into the village green, and then you can move them out from there. You can bind locations. These are the binding rings, so if I wanted to lock down a location, I cast the binding spell and put that down. And yeah, those are the basics.
Okay, cool. So you just, on your turn, like, did you just have like one action that you do, and then the next player goes and just...
Oh, so, okay, so the way the order of play works is the first thing that you do is tithe. So that's part of where the resource management comes into play. So you have all the cards all the ingredients that you got when you set up your familiars, and you look at those, and then you decide on one ingredient to tithe. So you can't be a part of the village without tithing. So you put one of your ingredients face down, and then the next thing you do is move and cast spells, and you can move up to 6 spaces, and that's any villager and any of your familiars. And it's a total of 6. So if I wanted to move let's see, nope, that's the miller. So if I wanted to move the miller into the village green, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's say I wanted to move this familiar over to the Lord's Manor, then it's 5, 6, and that's my total movement.
Okay.
And then you cast spells. And then you can cast as many spells as you have ingredients for. There's not a limitation except for the resources there. And then that you do that in turn order. Tithe you don't have to do in turn order. As soon as you know what you want to discard into the tithe barn, you can do that.
Okay.
Then the move and cast spells is in turn order, starting with whoever has the broom, so that indicates first player. And then the next thing you do is harvest, and so anywhere you have your familiars, you're going to go ahead and take 2 ingredients.
Okay.
So we have soil at the farm, silver at the Lord's Manor. Oh, sorry, that's the farm. Soil at the farm, and then this is the forge. We have fire at the forge, silver at the Lord's Manor, and flour at the mill. And there are also Eyes of Newt. There are 3 Eye of Newt cards inside, and if you get one of those, you can use it as a wild card.
Okay.
And use it as any ingredient. And then after everyone has done the move and cast spells phase, then you harvest. So anywhere you have, you get to, and then you move the broom. So then it goes to the next person clockwise, and continue play from there. So
Great.
yeah.
Thanks, Anne Marie. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.